Hello, you guys. Welcome back to my channel, All Things Melisha, where I discuss a lot about what's going on in the political world, but also everyday life topics in general. So, I had to come on here real quick, you guys, and give y'all my take on our president's first State of the Union address during his second term. It was just so refreshing to listen to a president that can complete a sentence without getting stuck. Okay? Um, Starting off, he was talking about how no matter what he was about to say about what he had been doing on behalf of the country, that he would not expect for that old Liberal Party to applaud. Okay, and he was pretty much accurate because they sat there pretty much the whole night with their little signs and stuff, and they didn't really applaud for anything except for when he talked about how we had given Ukraine billions and billions of dollars. Okay. And when they started clapping on that, he just stood there in disgust for the most part. And he was like, do y'all want to take another 5 minutes to clap? Y'all want this to be a never ending war where there are thousands upon thousands of people losing their lives every day? This is what you clap for? But you can clap for all of the good that he was saying that he was doing on behalf of our country and its citizens? Yeah, this party is pathetic, you guys. And even before he got started with his speech, you have this Al Green character, and not the one that I like, the singer, but the Congressman Al Green. His old ass, excuse my French, was standing up there with his cane, pointing it at my president, just drawing attention, just trying to be disruptive. Okay? And they had to put him up out of there. Who told that ninja to do that? That's all I want to know. How much did that ninja get paid to do that? Whew. I was surprised to see Nancy Pelosi there, you guys. I was like, okay, it looked like her hip didn't healed up pretty good, and she's back to her insider trading. At any rate, you guys, our president talked about what he was doing to make America great again, and some of those things included closing the borders. And you know that without a border, you don't have a country, okay? So by him shutting down this border, it's not only going to establish that we are a country, it's going to cut down on the fentanyl deaths that were being reported, okay, by the hundreds of thousands. Many people were dying. It's going to cut down also on that child and human trafficking that was happening. It's going to help cut that down. He also talked about how he was labeling the drug cartels a terrorist organization. And yeah, that's going to get rid of a lot of destruction. He talked about helping our farmers, you guys. And our farmers have been under such, they've been given the bad end of the stick. It's just so interesting to me that at one point they were trying to keep people from planting their own foods, telling people, even if it was your own backyard, they were telling people that it was against the law to plant their own food. Okay. And he made a statement too. He honored Robert Kennedy Jr., who's going to be heading our food and agricultural department, whatever it's called. But he talked about how, like a few years back, it was like 1 in 10,000 children that had autism, I believe. And now that number is 1 in 36. Yeah, it's something in the water. It's something in the water. They're trying to off us, guys, slowly but surely. So shout out to our president for backing our farmers, because you got to eat to live. Okay. And we know how this sick care industry is, not healthcare, but sick care. He also talked about the auto industry, bringing back auto jobs and getting rid of the mandate that the previous administration had put out for us to have to drive electric vehicles. Now, this party of pro-choice and freedom, democracy, was trying to mandate the type of vehicles that we drive. Not only did they mandate a new vaccine, but they was trying to mandate the type of vehicles we drive. And they are so pro-democracy and pro-choice. But they only ran off of abortion and LGBTQIA. That's all they had. He also talked about law and order. And, when it comes down to law and order, you guys, it's so important. Now, I will say that there are African-American men that have suffered police brutality. Okay, and have suffered being discriminated against when it comes down to law enforcement. And that there are some law officers that should never wear the uniform and should never have a badge. but that doesn't include everyone. Okay. And when this liberal party was talking about defund the police a few years back, who do you think that was going to affect the most? Okay, because a lot of young African-American men and women live in the inner cities where it is more crime than in other areas. So if you defund the police, it's not going to be beneficial to them, number one. Okay, and for the first time after they ran with all of that defund the police rhetoric, I had to call the police for someone, and I was put on hold. Sitting up here listening to music and thinking in my head, what if this was a life or death situation and I urgently needed help, and I'm sitting up here listening to traveling music? I'd be traveling, waiting to go up the stairway of heaven. But anyway, you guys, he also talked about getting rid of the weaponization of the FBI and the DOJ, where we see how those agencies were used very harshly against him. I mean, they raided his home. For the first time in history, you had a president's home raided for some documents, okay, that he had the authority to declassify and take. Whereas you had your previous president, Biden, who had taken documents when he was a vice president and didn't have the authority to take, but they didn't want to bring charges up against him for the exact same thing. They tried to bring charges up against President Trump, but the only difference was Trump had the authority to declassify because he was actually president at the time that he took the records, and Biden was not. Okay? And then y'all want to say it wasn't a two-tier justice system? Yeah. All right. But yeah, he's talking about getting rid of that. And what's so funny is when he was talking about that, he said, he looked over at the Democrat Party and he said, yeah, we're going to get rid of that. The weaponization of the Department of Justice and the FBI that was pretty much used to go after their political opponent. And he was like, how did that work out for y'all? In other words, I'm still up here. I'm president again. Y'all can stop this. Y'all can stop the Trump train. I'm up here again. I'm your president again. Gang, gang. You know, I have to rub it in too. Okay. He also talked about putting tariffs on other countries. He made mention that we were being tariffed and we weren't tariffed in other countries. So he said that for whatever percentage a country charges us in tariffs, we were going to match them and charge them the same. And I think that's fair. Okay. He also talked about regaining ownership of the Panama Canal. And I didn't know that it was a high chance of dying when that Panama Canal was built. He talked about how all the people, thousands of people lost their lives, you know, behind that, and how it was just sold off for like $1, I think they said. After all the people had lost their lives building it, this country, I believe, sold it for $1. So yeah, he also made mention of the Gulf of America. I was going to say of Africa. He made mention of the Gulf of America, previously named the Gulf of Mexico. And that's funny. I'm thankful that he shouted out Laken Riley's mom and also another victim of a illegal immigrant. But what was so cute was there was this little black boy that had been diagnosed with brain cancer 6 years ago, and the doctors had given him only a few months to live. And his wish was to be a police officer one day. And our president honored him by giving him the title of Secret Service agent. Wasn't that so cute? But no matter what he did that was good or said that was good for the behalf of the country, the Liberal Party just sat over there and sulked. I don't even know why they call themselves U.S. representatives, because they are not for the United States of America. They support foreign immigrants, foreign countries, their own pocketbooks, everything except for the United States citizens who they are supposed to be elected to represent. At any rate, you guys, I look forward to seeing my president make America great again. And in the words of that Kendrick Lamar song, I look forward to seeing the Liberal Party, or watching the Liberal Party